Hey, Steve Mignani here doing the Junkyard Crawl at Bernardston Auto Wrecking in Bernardston, Massachusetts with a very special Ford pickup truck, a 1959 Ford F350 six-wheeler. And if you know your Ford F-Series pickup trucks, this is a one-year hood, 1959 only, with the exposed grating, which actually does something. Now this cab design, this styling cycle went 1957 through 1960, 4 model years. It was very popular. The big deal about these was that these finally had room for 3 full-sized adults, 59 inches of shoulder room, so 3 people could sit in one of these things, go to and from the horse stable or the job site, whatever it would be, unlike the 56 and earlier Ford pickups, which were much more narrow affairs. More on that in just a second. Now 59 was a big year for Ford truck sales. A total of 347,266 were built, pushing Chevrolet into second place for the first time in many, many years. In fact, 30.46% of all trucks sold in 1959 were Fords. Now Ford trucks came in several flavors: the F100, the F250, and this one here, the big F350. The major difference was the F100 was sort of the half-tonner. It had a 5,000-pound gross vehicle weight rating. The F250 had a 7,400-pound GVRW, and the F350 had a whopping 9,800-pound GVWR. And the F350 is notable because it has 8-lug wheels, or actually 6 lugs here. We can see them here, but a Bud-style stamped wheel, and also a dual rear axle with twin rear wheels, not seen on the F100 or the F250, but standard stuff on the F350. This is about as big as it got for a medium-sized Ford truck, short of the Super Duty, the big trucks of 1959. But again, 1959, 57, 8, 9, 60 had this cool wraparound windshield right here. Very advanced stuff for its time, sort of like a fighter cockpit, if you will. Some say that it was more distorting of the view to the sides, but others say it was better than a pillar. You could actually see left and right a little bit better than you might on an earlier truck without that design. Now you look at this one here. This is long before the twin I-beam stuff arrived in 1965, the coil springs, etc. These are totally leaf spring trucks. You can see on this one here a multi-leaf, probably about a 10-leaf leaf spring on this one here. Heavy duty equipment and hydraulic brakes, of course. But it's interesting to note that this brake drum right here, the dimensions are the same as the F250. They're big, but this little adapter flange right here, which bolts to the standard drum and then allows for the extra offset of that Bud style, probably a 16.5-inch wheel. So interesting stuff to see that Ford made one part do several jobs when they could. Now getting back to this hood, 1959 was the one and only year that this sort of a ducted vent, if you will, this mesh was seen. 1958 and 60 and not there, but 59 only. But does it do anything? You have to wonder. It does. Let's open the hood and take a peek and see what we got. You can see right here, if you look through that thing, there it is. And what it does is basically it adds extra airflow to cool the engine and keep things cooler on a hot day climbing the grapevine in Southern California, or whatever job you might have. This was very much functional. Again, 1959 only for this hood, kind of a rare piece. Now, under the hood of this one, we have the Y block. This is the 272 cubic inch Ford Y block, a junior version of the 292 and of course the 312, which could be found in Thunderbirds. But again, the 272 was a pretty peppy little engine, solid lifters, no hydraulics. This one here is the 2-barrel, basic workman-like engine. And a unique thing about the Ford Y block was how the exhaust manifolds fed toward the front, and the crossover pipe went way up high, right in the way of your arms if you have to do any kind of service. With that said, you know, let the engine cool off, not a big deal, but kind of weird. This thing probably got pretty red and pretty hot climbing over a mountain pass or something like that. Notice over here too, the thermostatic control valve right here with that coil spring right there, which opens or closes to more rapidly heat or cool the intake as the need might be. Generator here, of course, no alternators for a few more years in Ford truck land. And interesting to see here that this has manual brakes, no power boosters at all at this point in time, but there are two master cylinders. What? Well, one of these things does the brakes, one does the clutch pedal. So this has a hydraulic clutch. Now in this book here, kind of a cool piece, this is the complete book of Ford trucks, F-Series trucks from 48 through 76. And this here is a nice little factory picture of the 1959 truck. Good looking truck right there, but there's that 1 year only meshed grill. We go to 1960, it's gone. You can see right about here it is right here, 1960, the mesh is gone. It still has slots for cooling, but again, the 1 year deal. And again, the previous iteration of the Ford truck, 1956, we can see right here, the Frankenstein cab, that deal right there. And again, much narrower inside, still has the potato body style where the fenders bolt on like a pontoon type deal, not the envelope styling seen in 1957 onward. And the punchline here again is 59 inches of shoulder room for three full-sized adult human beings to ride along in a Ford truck for the first time, really. Let's go inside here and have a peek. Super Shane Richardson, let's trade locations. And we'll open this door right here. And this still has the VIN or the service options label inside of the glove compartment. And we can see right there, F35, that's the F350, the big dog. C is the 272 V8, 9 is 1959 model year, and of course E is Mahwah, New Jersey, the plant that assembled this truck when it was new. But I'll go around the other side, Shane, you stay right there. And it's kind of cool to see the New England can-do farmer make it happen engineering inside. And in fact, if you look right here, these bits here, this is the power takeoff. We'll look at that in a second, but look at this crazy strap-iron confabulation right here, probably added on, who can say? Some farmers said, hey, let's make this thing work. There's the parking brake right here. And of course the manual transmission, no automatics in the F350s at this point in time, but kind of cool to see the design work here. Here's the manual choke right here. You'd push and pull this thing here to enrich the mixture on a cold morning so that it would run better. And of course the 100-mile-an-hour speedometer. And I always like the iconography, as it were, the starbursts right here, kind of space age kind of stuff. Better than just a piece of flat metal, but again, the starbursts here, they don't do anything, but they look kind of cool. And of course, manual transmission, like we said earlier. And it's kind of cool, if you look here, whoever had this was certainly an equestrian fanatic. We can see right here some little, I guess, emblems or little goodies here from the horse fair. We can see right here somebody won a ribbon, some ribbons here from the horse fair. Kind of cool. The seats on these do fold down, and there it is, the notorious in-cab gas tank. Now, you know, millions of people drove millions of miles with the gas tank in the truck. No big deal. But you get into the 1970s, mid-70s, and of course, generally speaking, the entire industry moved the gas tank down outside of the cab. The reality is, if you had a tumble or any kind of a big impact, that's about 20 gallons of gas that's in the cab with you. Not always a good thing. But with that said, there it is, very original. This one does have the deluxe headliner, which is a little bit extra money. Cardboard right in through here. And may not look like much, but the standard cab just had a hollow, it's a bell interior, which had a nice resonance to it. But with this here, a little quieter going down the road. Let's look at the rear. And again, being an F350, here's that four-wheel dually type rear axle with, I think, a Clark one-speed differential. It's way bigger than a Dana 60 or 70. I think these are made by Clark, but again, one-speed, no two-speed axle here. But again, the dually setup in the rear here, which gives this thing about a 9,800-pound GVWR. And getting back to that power takeoff, you can see this doohickey right here. Here is where the power takeoff would tap into the manual transmission. When engaged, it would spin this thing right here, which might have activated a dump body. I don't see anything remain of that. I don't see hinges or a piston, but something was activated by that power takeoff, the PTO. But again, you can see here at the back of the cab, that 59-inch full width interior for three burly human beings to sit inside of this thing and go to work every single day as needed. So that's a story of 1959, the 1 year hood on the F350. And of course, the big dog F350. From here, yeah, F400, bigger trucks by far. But for medium size on the farm use, this was as big as it got. You might call it the Super Duty of 1959. barring the Super Duty big trucks. But again, today's Super Duty kind of means the biggest pickup truck you can buy. This would have been it in 1959. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the SteamMags YouTube channel, ring the bell, subscribe, and by all means, give us a thumbs up, and tune in tomorrow for the next Junkyard Crawl video.